pricing. It's only worth what someone's prepared to pay and you are prepared to accept. Yeah, and that changes every day. Absolutely. Like today it could be 500. February, if the interest rates come down, it might be 550.
Going once, going twice, sold. You're listening to the Property Pod.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Property Pod, your weekly engagement into real estate here in the Hobart Marketplace. I'm your host, Aaron Horn, and it's been a while between episodes. We apologise that we haven't been at the mics. There's been a few, I guess, health-related issues that have halted me from being in, but school holidays, people have been away. We've made it back in the studio, so welcome back to the Property Pod. I'm here with real estate agents John McGregor and Patrick Berry. Welcome back, boys.
Thank you, mate.
Woo!
And welcome back.
We're back.
Thank you. Yes, it's been rough. It's been quite a little clip of time here. I had a pregnant partner with vertigo who we were trying to navigate through, and then boys getting sick and other boys falling off benches, and so it's been a red hot minute. It's
been a ride.
It's been a ride. Be a parent, they said.
And you're the glue that holds this team together, so John and I just don't turn up.
We just keep rolling.
Well, I appreciate you guys waiting around for me and not setting out some rogue recordings, but
we looked at replacing you, but it was just too hard.
Too difficult? Fair enough, yeah.
No, we got you back.
It's like when Paul Walker left the Fast and Furious. Well, he didn't really leave, did he?
No.
That's a rough reference.
When Jeremy Clarkson got kicked off Top Gear.
There you go, exactly.
Roll with that one.
And then you're the James May and Richard Hammond.
Yeah.
There we go. We brought it around. We were talking supercars before the show, so
that works.
We're right in the heat of things. What's been happening in the world of real estate? What's going on out there?
Let's not all jump in at once. It's been an interesting 30 days. That's just probably the best way to put it, I reckon. The market was definitely cooled off over those winter sort of months. It's been a little bit on the quieter side, but I think there's signs that it's starting to pick back up a little bit. A few more listings coming through.
The one that was interesting is that the Big Four releasing their forecasts for changes of interest rates.
Yes, I think I saw.
Hopefully, like to expect an adjustment. Whether or not that actually happens, who knows? But
PropTrack put out an article actually last night referencing it, and they're predicting by January, February, March next year, we'll start to see the cash rate come down and interest rates come down. So NAB and CBA are predicting as low as 3% by sort of January, February next year.
Which is with that information, then what would that mean for people? That they're going to be like, well, I get in now and pay the high interest rates so that I'm not in more competition, or do they wait until that's like more affordable? Which would be really interesting to see what's playing on people's minds that are looking to buy now.
Well, it's exactly right. Depends how you look at it, because some people are suggesting now is the perfect time to get in because, let's buy while there's not as many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you think, a 2% drop is going to be enough for it to boom back up? I guess time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting idea, as you say, because as soon as John mentioned, like, February sort of thing, I'm like, oh, okay, so you got to just bide your time out until February and then you can start playing the game again. Yeah. But then again, if you're thinking forward, you're like, oh no, I beat the rush and I get in and I pay a little extra premium on the interest until it drops down. So depending on how you play the game.
It's so interesting when you look at this graph. I don't know if you've had a look at it, John, but we'll get you a copy, Aaron, to put into the notes.
I'll pop it up.
It's just like straight up and then straight down.
Insane. And
it's just so unique because, like, if you were to look back over the years, it's just been such a constant sort of level. Yeah. And then it's just this extreme rise, and now it's almost predicting somewhat an extreme drop to a degree.
Well, it goes to show then that short-term medicine, you could say, after COVID, we just need to make people to start spending money.
Yeah.
Is that necessarily a good thing? Because there's
it's just bubbled this problem to now.
There's always pain that has to, the pain resurfaces.
I guess it's that tricky thing as well as like as each time the interest rates were rising, everyone's like, come on, we've got to have reached the top now. Like it's got to have like worked itself out. There would have to be algorithms and things in place where they know like, no, we've got to keep riding this out this little bit longer before we start heading down the mountain.
So one of the things I can't remember if it was the MyState Bank CEO or I think it was MyState I was talking to. Yep. Don't quote me on it, but
well, you're on a podcast, so we'll be quoting.
Well, I talked to a CEO of a bank recently, a Tasmanian bank, but I can't remember which one it was. And he was basically saying that the reason why the interest rates haven't worked, like the increases haven't curbed spending, is because while they were dropping all those years dramatically, the people that owned homes in that length of time, they didn't actually drop their repayments. They left the repayments at the same level, even though the interest rates were going down. So they're paying
more off the principal.
Yeah, so they actually built up a bit of a buffer. So over the last year, why it's been raising dramatically, a lot of people actually had 18, 20 months worth of buffer in them.
Yep.
So their spending habits didn't have to change because all they were doing was absorbing that extra principal they'd paid off.
Getting more equity in there.
Yeah. So he said to me that the biggest thing that he notices if interest rates are working or not is on a Friday or the Saturday night, how many restaurants are full when he goes out. So if he's still driving down the street and every restaurant is full, it means there's more pain coming because there's too many people that have expendable cash to be able to go out still and enjoy, and means it hasn't done its job yet. And he thinks that the biggest problem that we had was for so long, it kept going down, but people were able to just continue.
Build a safety net into their own.
Which is great. That's what people should be doing.
Yeah.
But it means that the people that have been really suffering are the ones that bought over the last 24, 36 months. They're the ones that have really struggled because they didn't have that safety net or that buffer to be able to absorb that increase.
Just that it's generally those people that are at the beginning of their, wealth building journey, not those at the end. Then now it's just like, I know it sounds pessimistic, the idea of that wealth gap element, but it does make sense in some degree. Because
it's sort of anything from that 2017 mark onwards, people that bought before were pretty good. But after that, they're the ones that were struggling a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, look, and I know like with us now with 2 mortgages at the minute, like that's really painful just because the timing, So, so any relief that'll happen over the next couple of years will make a big difference just on those weekly changes throughout like day to day over the course of 12 months when you're sending your budgets. I'll welcome any relief in that sense. The only other thought I had, I guess, is that people will always assume that things are bad when prices aren't going up, generally speaking, because it's that the market's tanking, everything's going bad. It's like just because the people's assets are losing somewhat value, so it's an odd idea sometimes where if it's not going up, it's not good. But is it necessarily? I guess from us as an agent's perspective and a transactional one, for me, I'm more so interested in what's moving in the market.
Okay.
Because as a practitioner, I know it sounds selfish, but our business is built on transactions, not on wealth growth in that respect.
Yeah, sure.
So because obviously our business is only going to get paid when
we sell a house,
sells, not necessarily if people make money. And I don't know that's not meant to make me sound greedy or.
I think what you're trying to get at is people need to probably know that it doesn't matter if your property is increasing in value. If you buy and sell in the same market, all you're doing is stepping sideways.
That makes sense.
That allows you to, people need to understand that, if you want to look at it, yes, your property has dropped by 20 or 30% over the last 18 months. No denying. But any house that you buy has
would
also
have dropped
had that
the same
drop
amount.
as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it doesn't really have that big effect. So you just need to remind yourself of that, if you still need to sell because you need different circumstances with family or different things happening, then as long as you buy and sell in the same market, you're fine.
Yeah.
The people that get stuck are the ones that sell in the good market, sell in like a market like now, but then rent for 12, 18 months and don't buy until it's too late and the market's shifted. And they've lost that opportunity. So that's what I think you just need to be careful of if you're selling, is just buy and sell in the same market. Or, sell while it's good and buy while it's cheap if you can get away with it. Because then you do really well, but, you have to crystal ball that. That's a hard one to do.
Very few people that guess that because they knew what to do. Most of the time we just get lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
While you guys were kind of talking about that, it got me thinking. I was working through some collateral during this week for Azza and yourself and for the company. There was this section in it about being like on the market or in the market. And as you guys were kept talking about, you're in this market or in that market, are you able to kind of break down this on the market and in the market idea for me? There was these cool little graphs that were kind of saying how much interest you'd get. And I was like, I'd love the boys to tell me more about this.
So how I reference that is I use it as a dartboard. So imagine that you can throw a dart on a dartboard and you hit the boundary and you get no points.
Which sounds pretty standard for you. Every time I've played darts with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I never win. But I'm on the board. So I got the board. Did you get your points? No. So the thing is that you could list let's just assume a property's worth 500 grand. It'll sell for that every day of the week.
Yeah.
Now you could put it on the market and advertise it for $1 million. And it's like, it's advertised for twice its value. No one's going to nibble because they're looking at their house going, man, he's insane.
Did you say nipple or nibble?
Nibble. Hey, I'll say nibble. I don't know.
I was like, okay.
I got nipples for days.
So you're on the market, you're advertising it,
but no one's interested.
No one's interested.
Yep.
So you keep using that dartboard analogy, and then you throw the dart and it hits the bullseye. So that's where you get your 50 points in darts. I think that's right, is it? Whatever.
You're telling this story, mate. Know your references before you bring them up.
But if I just took away the dartboard and the points, or if I just use the dartboard without the points, but the thing is then okay, you throw the dart, hits the bullseye. So that referencing that as to be in the market, well, that means, okay, we assume this house is worth $500,000. It's going to sell for that every day of the week. It's advertised at $500,000. And so therefore everyone that's looking is going, okay, that's a good buy. Let's inquire. Let's grab it. Yep. So that's the reference to say it's in the market. It's in the price point and a presentation where the buyers are at how they're actually going to buy it. So that's that thing where if you advertise too high, yes, you're in the market. Yes, you're on the market. It's being advertised, but it's not going to sell.
So okay. Say hypothetically we're in the middle of the dartboard.
Yeah.
So, we're not quite in the market and we're not too far over. So what happens in that scenario?
Well, I would see it as if you are relying exclusively on just advertising on a website, hoping that someone's going to nibble, probably not going to happen. But that's when the skill or, working with a sales agent can help, because look, okay, we know, come and have a look at this one anyway, because it may just be outside your budget, or it might just be a little bit above, and there's some room for negotiation there.
So it could result in showings that lead to nothing as well, to a degree, though, if you're just that little bit too high. So it's the way to get it sold is to be right there in the price that people are in.
That's right.
So the example that was in this collateral that you guys were putting together, that I was looking through these graphs, basically you had kind of plus 10% over market value, and the graph was bare. It was naked. It was like you'd thrown the dart and it had landed in the beer on the other side of the room. No interest, no people coming to look at the property. So your $500,000 property has been priced above 10% over what the market value of it is, and it is getting zero interest. In that range, then on the next graph was 5 to 10% above market value, and there was a little graph that was saying, yep, you might get some market interest, but no offers. Am I on the right track here?
So that's exactly what John's describing.
Yeah.
Is that, you'll get people look at it. You might get some people come to the open home because they're like, oh, let's go have a look at it. But they have no intention of paying that price for it. So one of two things is going to happen. They're going to, walk away and say that person's dreaming, they're not going to get that for it. Or they might lowball you with a lower offer to where they think in the market is.
Okay, yep.
Or it might just be a situation where John's describing where we have to massage the two buyer and the seller together. So, they don't necessarily inquire about that property because it is too dear, and they're like, well, that's not right. But John's been a great agent, and he convinces them, you should really look at this. I think it's going to tick the boxes.
Yep.
But it might just mean that little bit of massaging to get them to accept 5% over what the market value is.
Yep.
And then the vendor is like, oh, well, I could probably live with that 5% over. And then we end up with the happy medium between the two.
And you're able to bring a deal together.
So stuff does happen in that 5 to 10% range, but it's a lot less.
And so, the other factor on this graph was kind of like a time axis sort of thing. So it was like you might be getting the interest in this time. So I guess it depends on how quickly you want to sell. Like you could sit at 5 to 10% above if you've got time. Is that?
Well, that's the there's a time, there's a price.
There's a price, there's a time. I've heard that one.
Yeah. So and that's the idea. Well, okay, it's not worth what you're asking for, which is you're advertising for 10% above the market today. If you've got 3 to 5 years to wait, cool, you'll probably eventually get that. But if you want to shift it in the next 30 days, this is the price where the market is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about shifting markets, and like we were talking about before, like things might be changing. So your price could be you could be right in the market with the right price today, but come February when the interest rates change.
Not there anymore.
Not there anymore. Your dartboard's moved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with pricing. It's only worth what someone's prepared to pay and you are prepared to accept. Yeah. And that changes every day.
Absolutely.
Today it could be 500. February, if the interest rates come down, it might be 550.
Yeah.
But we don't know that.
And so that's why it always pays to kind of if you get an appraisal and you don't list straight away, update your appraisal or find out later. Like if you are checking back in 6 months later, it's not. You could find a different result.
100%.
And the beauty is people get scared by appraisals like, I don't want to sit down with the agent. They're going to try and make me list the home for sale. Like, be upfront and say, look, you came to my house 6 months ago. I just want to get an updated price. Haven't done anything more to it. Most agents, they don't want to waste their time either.
Yeah.
So they're probably happy to say, are you happy with me just to do some online research and then I can give you an idea via email or over the phone?
I was going to say I've got an even easier way. You don't even have to talk to the agent.
Yeah.
Go to our website, go to 414.com.au. There's like a big banner right at the front. Says, what is my property worth? Pop your address in.
Done.
Pat's looking at me like.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking, we promise we won't spam you that much.
Yeah.
Like you might get a few emails from us, but it is a service that is really good on our site. It gives you an idea, but don't take it as
no. As I was going to say, it's not like fully accurate, but it gives you an idea of like, oh, I thought we were sitting in this area, and that's using up to date data that's coming through. So it's not like 6 months ago, or 6 months ago if you checked, you could be like, I wonder if things have moved.
So the important thing about our website, if you use our auto-val tool, is you'll see there is a confidence meter there. Imagine it as a red to green line. So red, orange, green line.
Yep.
If the meter is sort of at full pelt round all the way up to the top of green, then it must be highly confident that that's what you're going to get for that price. And the reason it can be confident is there's been some recent sales close by that are very similar in size, quality, style.
Yep.
So it's got reference points to say, yes, this home should sell for
We're confident that this is what markets in here.
If it's orange or red, then don't take a lot of value in that report.
Okay.
So it's still good to give you a ballpark, but you really need someone like John or myself or one of the team members to come and confirm it for you, because all it's doing is giving you an idea.
Yep.
So if you don't get green, it's good for a reference point, but don't base all your financial decisions on it.
I had an email from a guy who I met him when he did work experience with me for a week, and he's always stayed in contact about his house, his mum's house, and he's looking to buy another one, and who was using the one of those desktop reports as an idea of trying to gauge value on it. And I said exactly what you described then, is that be careful not to place too much stock in it, because it can vary in a big way. And we've got a case study for that, which was that company in America, Zillow, where they had basically a trading platform where they would buy your house based off the data with the intention that then they'd be able to flip it.
Patented Zestimates, I think they're called.
And man, they lost billions.
Yeah.
Because the thing is about real estate is it's such a, it's not like the red book with cars where it's much easier to probably fluctuate those small details.
Yeah.
Value in real estate gets measured down to right to the street level, right to the front door. So when they just relied on those data, those data reports to try and build in this platform, man, they got smashed. Absolutely smashed.
Yeah, the one we use, key takeaways to know is, like, if you haven't sold the house for 10, 20 years, it's probably going to spit out a pretty inaccurate report because it knows nothing about the house.
Yeah.
But if you bought it in the last 5 to 8 years, there's a pretty good chance that it has already recorded information from last time you sold it. So it knows how many beds, how many bathrooms. It's got all the past photos of what your house looked like. It knows how big your property is. Because us as agents, when we sold it to you, we put all that information online to help sell it. So it kept all that information. So you can use that information to figure out a price.
So you've done your renovations and stuff. So use my house, for example. I've changed
it. Terrible idea.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to know the extra work you've done to the home.
Okay.
It's only going to know at that moment in time when
that
you
it's a
bought
3-bedroom
it
home,
2017,
2018.
So it's only going to know what you had at that point in time, and it's going to use what the house looked like then and compare it to homes today.
Yeah.
That match that same criteria.
Well, it happened personally, like with mine, the property, it said 500,000 on the desktop report, but obviously we'd done renovations, so once we'd had the value of visit the property, well then it was 580.
Must have been good renovations, John.
That's right.
You must be a good man on the tools.
I'm good at not doing the tools.
That's why it's 580
He's got good people in his corner, baby.
But that's the thing. If I was to exclusively rely on that report, well, in theory, I'd be undervaluing my property. But now, if we were to ever sell again, it'll have all those factors taken into, like you said, But they're useful. They're good to start conversations too, and we send them out on a daily basis. That thing will, and people will quickly determine whether or not it's, we'll hear back very quickly whether or not it's actually any good for them.
Yeah, I've had some people tell me when I've sent them through what they really think about
that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and I always preface it in the email. This is just an estimation by a third-party supplier. This is not my opinion.
Yeah.
It's their opinion.
And I'll make sure I include a link to who they are.
But obviously that is a bit of danger because it is on our side. It does look like it's from us, but it is not. It's from CoreLogic, which is a very reputable data company. That's why we chose to.
100%. Yeah,
they can only tell you what they know about you.
Yes, so, and I guess like if you're seriously looking at selling, it might be a good starting off point to find out a pricing guide and then, pick up that phone, or you will probably get an email if you've put your address in. Because
Martin and Sean love to advertise their footy tipping competition to the database.
It's going well. The one thing I wanted to cover off just before we finished on the market, on the market and everything was there was a good bit of wording in there that was the opinion on the market may not be kind, but it's never wrong. We will know if
sentence.
We will know if. Sorry, let me say that again. The opinion of the market may not be kind, but it's never wrong. We will know if you have got it right because the market will show up and put offers on your property. So I just thought straight away it was like people could be cranky that they're like, well, how come it's not selling and it's not happening? How come no one came to my open home? And it's like, the advice was this is where you're in the market. This is where you're right in it, not just on it. The market is always right at that stage because 6 months from now it could be completely changed.
Well, the thing is that we can't twist people's arms to make someone do something they don't want to do. Very simply. So you can't force a buyer to pay more than what they want, and you can't force a seller to accept less than they need to.
Yep.
I think what I've found over the years is that I will pitch a price to a potential seller, and it might be 500,000. Let's keep using that scenario.
Yep.
Yeah. Seller tells me straight away, oh, well, I wouldn't sell it for anything under 550. And as an agent, you've got a pivot point there. You've got a decision to make. You either agree with the seller and say, well, yes, we can trial it and see how we go. As long as you fully explain to them that, it may not happen, or you can basically walk away and let someone else take that on. Because there will be an agent that will just agree with anybody and say yes. I think the key thing is whenever I'm faced with that is I'm always happy to agree with the purchaser, with the vendor, because sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we can only figure out what we think it's worth. Like other people have different opinions. Yep. But I always make it clear to them that at the end of the day, we need to listen to the feedback and listen to the data.
Yeah, sure.
So if we run 1 or 2 open homes and it doesn't work out, we need to either make the decision to adjust the price to meet the market, or we need to make the decision of looking at a different pathway.
Yep.
Is it, what are you trying to achieve? Is it now the right time to sell? Is it something we rent for a while? Is it, we need to look at plan B and plan C. But it's very important that statement is 100% correct.
Yeah.
What you need to understand is that we don't go out there and we don't come to you to lie to you and just agree with you. We will happily try anything
to
help you achieve the best result for you.
Yeah.
But we always, I know John and I do, we always make it very clear to somebody that, our research and our data suggests it's this, but we're happy to try that for you.
Yeah, I'm sure there'd be plenty of people out there who like to put their boots in and be like, oh, well, they bloody try and charge them more and get more for it so that they get extra commission and all that kind of hoo-ha. But like you're saying, like you could, sweet, we'll put it on for 550. If it doesn't sell, no one's getting paid.
Yeah, so we don't want to waste our time on a property that
isn't going to sell. So there's no use putting a crazy ass price on it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think as a vendor, you need to remember we only get paid if we sell the property.
Yeah.
And the last thing that any agent wants to do is spend months on end trying to sell a home that's not priced correctly.
Yeah.
Because we're doing a lot of work, and it is a lot of work. People think we just sit around and do nothing, but we do. It's a lot of work for nothing until we get that successful result. So
and that I was in an appraisal yesterday, and he said, "Oh, look, would you, if you sell it quickly, will you reduce your commission?" I said, "Well, no, because we get paid by the results, not the time it takes to get that result. Because sometimes you'll have a property that I'm up to 40 plus inspections at the moment." But there was another one where we just signed the paper, transacted, the listing authority and the contract at the same time.
Yep.
But I like the analogy. I got this from an artist actually, and I think he was a graphic designer at the time. And when you negotiate with companies that say, well, but it only took you 5 minutes to do that logo, I don't want you to pay you that. I don't want to pay you your fee. It's like, well, yeah, but it took me 20 years to be able to get to that this level where I could get you the result you wanted in such a short space of time. And then he said, okay, no worries. Would you like us just to wait 3 months and then I'll deliver you the exact same photo so you feel like you've got your value out of it?
Not bad.
You know, he's like, oh, no, well, how about you pay the fee and we move on?
Yeah, don't mind that.
And I guess John's always got a story.
He does. He's got crackers. That's why we have him.
But I guess that, but I think people always forget they've got the choice to say no. And they can always go in a different direction.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You've got to do what's best for you. Like, And I think the best decision anybody can make when they make the decision to sell is find the agent that they feel the most comfortable with.
Yes. Yeah.
You're going to know that person straight away.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what brand the agent works for or what marketing they offer. I think the most important thing you can take away is that the person you choose is the one that you connect with and you believe what they're telling you. Like, to me, that's the most important.
I love that. I think that's a great button to end on. Beautiful, boys. Well, it was good to be back in the studio. It's been a red hot minute.
Yeah, man. Nice to see your face.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. My face is adorned with this District B beanie that I got yesterday from Taru. What a guy.
I love it.
What a guy. He suckered me in. I came in. I said, I'd love a coffee, mate.
Yeah.
And he said, you should take a beanie too. I said, I think I will.
Like, do you know, that'll warm the heart, the coffee, but this will warm the head.
If only he'd said that, I would have bought two. All right, boys. Shout out to everyone out there listening. Like, share, subscribe, do all those things that we never tell you to do. This has been the Property Pod.
See you later, guys.
Bye. You have been listening to the Property Pod, recorded and edited by 414 Media House in conjunction with 414 Property Code.
This podcast is general information only, and the thoughts and views expressed is the opinion of our panel, and listeners should always seek then use their own investigation into any topic we discuss to ensure they fully understand their own situation.
It does not constitute and should not be relied on as purchasing, selling, financial or investment advice or recommendations, express or implied, and it should not be used as an invitation to take up any agent or investment services. No investment decision or activity should be undertaken on the basis of this information without first seeking qualified and professional advice.